Ben Shapiro has gone viral once again for some comments that he makes saying that even Martians would be opposed to same sex marriage. Now, this is, of course, in response to the Senate passing a law codifying same sex marriage into federal law. Now, of course, the Obergefell v. Hodges ruling makes it a constitutional right based on the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause. And so they're just doing this, I guess, in an attempted protection against a potential reversal of Obergefell v. Hodges ruling, which is what Clarence Thomas had hinted at. But spoiler alert, this won't work because if they roll back Obergefell v. Hodges, there's like a 99.9% chance that the Supreme Court will say that the federal government doesn't have the power to make a law like determining like marriage in terms of like same-sex marriage and stuff. And so they just say that's unconstitutional too. So it wouldn't do anything, but nonetheless, it's good to pass it because it's like, symbolic thing and it moves us forward. So still good. But Ben Shapiro has some very bizarre things to say here. He's going to try to frame this in a non-religious way, which is very bizarre. Let's check this out.
Put aside the rule of construction. The thing that's really amazing to me is that it is now apparently the law of the land and societal rule that the only rationale that you would possibly have for saying that a marriage is between a man and a woman is because you're a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim. That's really the only reason at all. That the only reason will allow you to have these crazy beliefs so long as you can show that they're crazy beliefs. So long as you can show that the reason that you believe that marriage is between a man and a woman is because you read it in a book and because you really believe the book. They keep saying sincere religious belief. I don't even know how you measure sincere religious belief. Are we going to like now?
You can't measure sincere religious belief, unfortunately. That's why a lot of them are unfalsifiable claims.
Monitor how often you go to church or to synagogue, whether you keep kosher or whether you take communion in order to determine your sincere. I mean, the same media that declares that Nancy Pelosi is a sincere religious believer who's just for the mass abortion of unborn children will declare that you, Matt Walsh, are not actively in favor of the things that you're in favor of. You're just a religious bigot. You're a bigot, right? And your religion is a cover for your bigotry. I'm highly annoyed by the constant derogation of non-religious arguments into religious arguments. And this is what the left loves to do. They like to say, you're pro-life. The reason you're pro-life is because of your crazy religion. And so maybe we can respect your crazy religion along those. That is not the argument for marriage. The argument for marriage has literally nothing to do with religion. You could be a visitor from...
So this is crazy.
From Mars. And you could see that all of human procreation relies on man, woman, child. This is not particularly difficult stuff. By essentially boxing in the argument in favor of traditional marriage into, if you're a crazy religious believer, maybe we'll let you have that. But, if you're a cake baker, then we're not sure about that, right? I mean, like, we're not sure how far this religious liberty thing extends. What you're really doing is you're setting the ground game at same-sex marriage and traditional marriage are completely the same thing. And if you object to it, the only reason that will even allow you to do that is because of this crazy thing called religion.
So what he's trying to do here is he's trying to establish like this other means of attacking gay marriage. And I've seen him do this before in that one video he did where it was like some like seminar he gave or like some speech he gave about, how to like trick the left into like beating them in debates, how to corner them or whatever. And this was one of the things he was trying to say was like, like other arguments against gay marriage other than religion. Now, we know that the reason why there's been this quote-unquote box-in that he's trying to frame it as is because nobody makes an argument against same-sex marriage except for based on God. They just say it's against my religion. That's the only reason. And the thing is because if you think logically and you just simply say, all right, well, let's just leave religion out of it, right? What is the argument against gay, anything, gay relations, gay marriage, gay sex, any of that stuff? There is no logical argument against same-sex marriage or any of this kind of stuff from a logical perspective. Now, from a religious logical perspective. Now, the argument he's trying to make here is that, procreation is only available due to marriage between a man and a woman. First of all, tethering procreation and marriage together is another fallacy because people don't only get married to procreate, and procreation is not inextricably linked to marriage. People can procreate without marriage. So again, another weird like false equivalence that he's trying to play here. But this attempt at trying to give a superior status to this different sex marriage versus same-sex marriage is, they can procreate. It's an appeal to human nature fallacy. It's a really, really common fallacy, and it's important for you to be able to point this out. It says the appeal to nature is a logical fallacy that occurs when something is claimed to be good because it's perceived as natural or bad because it's perceived as unnatural. So first of all, I wouldn't actually even concede that gay marriage or gay relations, first of all, we for sure know that gay sex is incredibly natural, scientifically proven, all the time happens in non-humans. all the time. Very, very common thing, super common. We see it all the time in animals. So that is obviously natural. So I'm not even going to concede that same-sex marriage is unnatural. But even if it hypothetically was, it wouldn't mean that it's something that's an inferior thing in comparison to different sex marriage. Morally, there's no differential, because just because it's natural, hypothetically, right, which I don't agree with, but let's just concede, just as a premise, just steel man the argument, it still wouldn't be better, because morally, there's nothing better about something that's quote unquote natural versus unnatural. Just because it's natural doesn't mean that it's morally better. So even on a logical grounds, like what? Do we have some kind of a duty to procreate? What duty do humans have to procreate? I don't even understand that. Is that a moral thing? Is there a moral thing attached to that? Is that also a natural argument? Like, I don't even know, what argument is this? I don't even understand. It's like, so if people were, let's hypothetically say everybody was gay, you're trying to get like people to forcibly procreate, essentially, is what you're trying to do. Also, I want to say that gay people, like exclusively gay people, will never be even close to a majority of people, simply because of the nature thing, right? We are built through evolution. Obviously, reproduction is like the key integral part of evolution. And so because of that, the vast majority of people will never be solely gay. Now, there will be a lot of people who are bi, but there won't be people who are like, exclusively gay, because you can't procreate that way. And obviously that's, what evolution is set for. And so people are going to be geared through evolutionary mechanisms. So that's another fear tactic that they do. The Republicans love to smear and fear. They like to lie about stuff and like promote fear on something. So the fear is, oh my gosh, procreation is going to be gone and we need to maintain procreation. And but gay people are going to take over. Everybody's going to be gay. Oh my God. Whoa. It's like, no, it's not, dude. And that's what makes it even dumber, is like gay people will never hold that stance. Like exclusively gay people will never be the majority of people, simply for these, evolutionary reasons in the first place. But it's weird. Like, I do wonder where Ben Shapiro got this like weird skill of like trying to weirdly manipulate stuff and like try to create these out of the box, like bizarre like he's gaslighting us right now. He's trying to gaslight us into arguing that the main argument against same-sex marriage is not religion. That's what he's trying to say. He's the only person I've heard that's made this argument before. And anybody else who's tried to make the argument, it's always been like a subsidiary, secondary argument after like the failed religious arguments that he tries to make. So it's like, it's hilarious to watch him try to do this. But I don't know where he learned this skill from, but he's trying to completely reshape the argument into an appeal to human nature fallacy, in which he tries to assert that different sex marriage is superior, which again, different marriage and procreation are not even inextricably linked. They're two separate concepts. But let's even just say it was. Just because it's natural doesn't mean that it's better morally or ethically or even logically, because even logically, it's like, okay, what duty do you have logically to procreate or to continue life? Like, what is it? I don't understand. What would you appeal to in terms of like logically trying to say we need to procreate to even like to continue on like evolution or whatever, that kind of stuff? What logical argument even would there be for that? I don't even know. What would you be appealing to in terms of like potential or morality? Like, I don't know what you would be arguing for or what your argument method would be. But Ben Shapiro, surprisingly, I thought he would be more pro same-sex marriage by this point, because as we're going to see in a video I'm also going to cover on Matt Walsh, he was somebody who was like, he was getting run out. He was defending gay conservatives when Charlie Kirk was getting run out by the fascist Nick Fuentes and them at colleges. So I thought he would have been more pro-gay marriage, but I guess he's still like super bigoted though. And this is an issue that 70% of Americans agree on. So I don't know how long the Republicans can hold on to this belief. I genuinely don't. But Ben Shabibo just going real crazy here with his buddy Matt Walsh.